Let's start with cyber.
Yeah.
You've said that a cyber 9/11 is not an if, but a when. What would a cyber 9/11 look like, and how soon could it happen?
It could happen imminently. What would it look like? It could take many forms, but let me just give one that may come to mind, which is what happens when the electric grid goes down. You know, we saw that during Sandy, and you see how that impacts everything from the ability to heat homes, to the ability to pump gasoline, to the ability to have lighting at night, everything. So when we look at the nation's critical infrastructure and where it is vulnerable, one of the vulnerabilities is through the cyber and the networked cyber world that we live in. So we have been, kind of trying to get this word out. The Secretary of Defense has, I have, the Attorney General has, the Chair of the Joint Chiefs has, saying, look, we shouldn't wait till there is a 9/11 in the cyber world. There are things we can and should be doing right now that, if not prevent, would mitigate the extent of damage that could be caused.
Turning now to news here in the United States. Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano has announced today that she will be stepping down from her position in Washington.
Joining me now is F. Michael Maloof, former security policy analyst in the Office of the Secretary of Defense and author of the book A Nation Forsaken, EMP, the escalating threat of an American catastrophe. Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
Just to define terms, electromagnetic pulse?
Yeah, it's an intense burst of electromagnetic particles that come descending on down and can absolutely destroy all of our electronics if they're unprotected.
Isn't, back in the 80s, the northeastern power grid shut down one day and nobody knew why, and it turned out later it was a bunch of particles coming from the sun, as I recall. Yeah. Isn't that a kind of a mini example of EMP?
Well, we have a mini EMP could be from a solar burst. We're now going through one of our most intense periods, 11-year cycle of the sun, and NASA has raised all kinds of concerns about that, especially if we were to get a direct hit. They're estimating that the cost could be upwards of $2 trillion, affect about 164 million people, take 4 to 10 years to recover if we get a direct hit.
Wow. And that's basically, it comes out of a sunspot, and so it's like the sun is blowing it out somewhere in that 360 degrees, and if we happen to wander through that.
Exactly. If it comes from approximately the middle of the sun, it could result in a direct hit on Earth. Some of these solar flares can be 2 to 3 times larger than the Earth itself.
Wow. And what would it do?
It will fry your electronics. You see, the United States is a technology-based society, whether it's our internet, our telecommunications. We have very critical infrastructures. They're all dependent upon electronics, the national grid system.
But when the electricity goes out, the water goes out, the sanitation systems go out.
Everything.
We couldn't go without very, very long.
An electromagnetic pulse can be devastating to the grid, and it is